everybody, and welcome back to my regular episode schedule of every other day. Today I did my first interval training session after the 1 week break due to the heavy muscle soreness which I got from running. The muscle soreness lasted for like 5 days and I didn't want to harm my legs in any way, so I did no sports for 5 days. And I did felt the break today in today's session. Like the muscles didn't felt as fit as they did usually, and also my stamina wasn't as good. So during the warm-up I already felt like there's something different today. But in the end I almost reached the same spot which I normally reach after 15 minutes. This perception was only my personal perception and not backed by data. So my stamina didn't decrease that much, which would be strange after only 1 week of a break, if it would drop enormously. And today we had, I would say, the very first day of autumn. It had 15 degrees Celsius, which is around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And I wore my biking jacket from the very beginning. Normally I'm putting it on only on the downhill, as I'm sweating quite a lot and I can build up a lot of heat while going uphill. So I normally put it on only on the downhill, but today it was necessary also on the uphill, especially on the flat cycle path where I normally ride faster than I would while going uphill, obviously. And today was also the very first time where I put on my leg warmers. I didn't brought them on the previous rides, and today I wore them from the very beginning, as I thought if my muscles are cooling out, as I thought they are more prone to injuries if they are cold, and I also don't have to suffer while riding if I have them at home. And it's always quite funny, as each ride I start with a lot of motivation, as I know I can push harder than I did the last time, and I'm also currently at a fitness level which a normal person cannot sustain for a longer period of time, so that is giving me quite a big push. But after a few meters when I'm doing the intense interval, I'm always questioning myself, why am I doing this, as it is that hard. So as already said in one of the previous episodes, it's not as easy as it might look like. Not for me, not after I don't know how many interval sessions I already did. So it's always a big challenge for my body and my mind to push through, no matter how hard it gets. Today I came home at the right time, so like 30 past 5 p.m. But it took me almost half an hour to get my bike ready, as the valve of my rear tire wasn't working as it should, as I don't know why my rear tire is deflating itself after 1 day. So either it is the valve or the sidewalls of the tire are leaking, even with tire sealant in the tire. So I still have to check where this is coming from, as I have to inflate my tires before every ride, which is quite annoying and uses a lot of time. So today it took me 40 minutes to get my bike ready, which means putting on the rear light, the front light, mounting my protection gear on the bike so I don't have to wear it, stuffing my gloves into the protection gear, as I'm not wearing them on the uphill, as otherwise I would sweat too much and they would be soaking wet on the downhill and then I would have freezing fingers. And all that stuff took me 30 minutes. So I was starting at 6 p.m. and I came back home at 7 p.m. And today's ride, let's say, got me the biggest return on investment. You might think, what do I mean by return on investment? To be honest, this is purely sarcastic, as today I crashed since I don't know how long it has been between today and the last crash I had. So while going downhill, I made one big mistake. I wasn't concentrated enough to ride the trail, and this was let's say it was a turn, not a berm, where I crashed before. Like it's a high-speed turn, but it has no berm, so you cannot lean into it. The ground is made out of gravel, so pretty slippery. And today I approached it at a too fast speed. As I've ridden it before in between the intense interval sets, In the brake itself, I felt quite confident to go it at such a high speed, but my tires kept sliding out. My bike was leaning in on the right side. I touched the ground with my right leg and my right elbow, and I crashed quite nicely, I would say. So I cannot remember what I was thinking before the crash, but it was something stupid which hadn't to do anything with mountain biking. Can barely remember it, like something, what would other people think about me while I'm riding down? That's quite a common thought I have. Do I look cool or something? That thought is extremely distracting, which I noticed unfortunately this time as I crashed, as I didn't focus on the riding itself, which is like more demanding this time because it was pitch black and I only had my light which guided me along the trail. And getting back to what return on investment means, like talking ironically about this, the investment would be the ride itself, and the return I got was a broken jacket. Like now I have a small hole in the right elbow part of the jacket. I have an abrasion on my right elbow. It's not big, but still I won't be any elbow model anytime soon. And if that wouldn't be enough, this time I wore a normal shirt, which means I have no back pocket where I could put my phone. And obviously as right-handed person, I put my phone in the right pocket. And I crashed on the right side. I obviously had the phone with the screen pointing to my leg, but somehow I still managed to crash my screen. It's still readable. The screen itself isn't damaged, only the glass cover. But to be honest, I don't need a broken phone. Like, I liked my phone how it was before. My elbow will heal, but my phone, I haven't bought it with that special feature, which is called self-healing. So yeah, now I have to live with a broken phone. But still the functionalities are okay, the camera is okay, so that's a pretty important feature for me. And the screen is still readable and it works as it should, so let's hope I don't crash anymore. As I already have broken my phone, so the last phone was also a victim of my riding style. There I crashed quite heavily and it destroyed my phone completely, so like the screen was turning blue but it wasn't turning on anymore. I couldn't rescue my photos and so on, so I had to buy a new one, which is my actual phone right now. And I have no intention to buy a new phone in the next 2 years. So I hope this is the last crash where my phone gets damaged in any way. And it's quite funny how life plays, as I'm currently reading a book from Eckhart Tolle. It's called Now. I don't know the exact title, I just translated it right in the moment. The Power of Now or something. And there he talks about how thinking is destroying humankind, as thinking too much is nurturing our ego, which in the end is hiding our true personality. It's quite interesting how reading that book relates to my writing experience, where actually thinking too much shifted my focus to my head and not to my writing, and therefore distracted me and caused the crash. And in the book he's also talking about why extreme sports are so addictive and so interesting for people, as extreme sports require a special type of focus, as obviously in an extreme sport you have to be completely focused, otherwise you can make a decision which can lead to death. Being that focus means you live in the present, which means you are completely focused on the moment right now and don't have any spare resources to think. The experience is fully immersive and you don't have the possibility to think, which according to Eckhart Tolle is the enlightenment everybody should aspire to achieve. With that philosophical thought, I want to thank you for listening, and if you liked the episode or any previous episode or the podcast in general, consider to hit like in your favorite podcasting app, and it would be also very cool if you could give the podcast and myself a rating, in the best case a 5-star rating, to let other people know that this podcast is worth listening. If you have any tips or recommendations, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Georg1sc, which is